I feel like we're all being trolled here. How is Daniel Jones good again? Maybe New York is just the problem. Welcome to week 3 of the NFL. I am here doing my weekly NFL predictions videos. And yeah, this is going to be late because due to circumstances of working some film gigs, I couldn't get out my Thursday. I couldn't film it on time, and thus I'm filming it after Thursday Night Football. But as you can see, my pick will be chosen that I chose the Bills to win, and I was correct in that. So let's do a quick recap of Week 2. Week 2, I went 13-3 for a total of 24-8 as of now. It's 25-8 because of the Bills game, but through Week 2, I am 24-8, and Week 2, I went 13-3. Let's do a quick recap. I was correct in choosing the Packers to beat the Commanders. The Packers look really solid, and the score may look close, but it wasn't really that close. The Packers had command of the game the whole time. The Sunday games, I was correct in choosing the Lions to beat the Bears. They just completely mollywopped the Bears 52-21. Everyone's saying the Lions are back. Let's hope that's the case. And it was sort of a revenge game on Ben Johnson for leaving them. I think that's kind of funny. Then I was incorrect in choosing the Steelers to beat the Seahawks. It was tied up at 17-17 at halftime, but the Seahawks just came rolling back, especially after that special teams muff on the kickoff return for the Steelers. It wasn't really a muff. They just let it go, and they thought that it was a touchback, but it wasn't, and the Seahawks got it for a touchdown. Then I was correct in choosing the Ravens to beat the Browns 41-17. That was really funny to see. I was also correct on choosing the Bengals to beat the Jaguars 31-27 in a very, very sad and unfortunate game because Joe Burrow is out because he plays for the Bengals. That's why. Then I was correct in choosing the Rams to beat the Titans 33-19, and the Titans just didn't really have a chance. Like, Cam Ward still looks good, but the Rams are just a team that will be a pain in everyone's asshole this year. Then I was correct in choosing the Niners to beat the Saints. The Niners did not have Brock Purdy, but that did not deter them because Mac Jones came in and just looked really damn good. And the Saints still don't look like the worst team in the NFL. Spencer Rattler threw 3 touchdowns, and he's looking better, but unfortunately, they just couldn't get it done. Then I was correct in choosing the Cowboys to beat the Giants in a game that nobody expected to be this close. Russell Wilson just came out of nowhere, throwing moon balls everywhere, throwing touchdowns. It was a bloodbath in the fourth quarter, but ultimately he threw that pick in overtime, and the Cowboys were able to kick the field goal with Brandon Aubrey. Then I was correct in choosing the Patriots to beat the Dolphins. The Dolphins didn't look that bad. They just couldn't get it done, unfortunately. And they lost 33-27. I was correct in choosing the Bills to beat the Jets 30-10. And yeah, Jets didn't really have a chance, unfortunately. Justin Fields did not look good. People are saying he was playing concussed, and if that's the case, that sucks. And he's out, and I think Tyrod Taylor is going to be playing for week 3 for him. Then I was incorrect in choosing the Broncos to beat the Colts. Why is Daniel Jones suddenly good? What the hell is happening? And yeah, they could have lost, but there was a leverage call on the defense on that missed field goal at the end of the game, which pushed the Colts up further, and they kicked the game-winning field goal. So yeah, Daniel Jones is good. And the Broncos are just kind of a mess. Not a mess, but like, yeah, turnovers, and that defense is still solid, but come on, man. They expect better of you. Then I was correct in choosing the Cardinals to beat the Panthers. The Panthers almost came back, and this is what I was looking for from Bryce Young, that connection with Hunter Renfrow. He threw 2 touchdowns to him, and that I want to see more of that connection, but unfortunately on a 4th down in the 4th quarter, while they're trying to do that game-winning drive, Bryce Young got sacked, unfortunately. And the game was over. I was correct in choosing the Eagles to beat the Chiefs in a very, underwhelming sort of match. I didn't watch the whole game, but I expected it to be a whole lot more. Just Jalen Hurts only had 101 passing yards. And there's a stat going around saying he only has 2 throws for more than 10 yards. That's kind of interesting. But yeah, Chiefs lost their own 2, and that's kick-ass. I was correct. I'm sorry, I was incorrect in choosing the Vikings to beat the Falcons. The Vikings, wow, did not look good. Falcons just mollywopped them 22-6, and J.J. McCarthy's out. So, yeah, a lot of quarterbacks are out this week. I was correct in choosing the Bucks to beat the Texans, and the Bucks won on a game-winning touchdown drive from Baker, because Baker's legit, he's elite, And you know what? This team looks like a Super Bowl contender. Then I was correct, sorry, in choosing the Chargers to beat the Raiders in a very, very ugly game. It was a defensive struggle for the most part, and the defense kept the Raiders in for the most part. But unfortunately, the offense just couldn't capitalize. Geno Smith threw three interceptions, sorry, and just when all hope seemed lost, Max Crosby got a fumble, and then we couldn't capitalize on it again. We spent like what 11 minutes on an offensive drive that just amounted to a field goal. What the hell? So yeah. Now let's move on to week 3. And like I said, I already chose the Bills to beat the Dolphins, and that was a pretty fun game. That was a good loss by the Dolphins, I would say, because they were toe to toe with with the Bills the whole time. And unfortunately, Tua threw that pick on that drive that they had, and that sucks to see because I like Tua. I don't want him to get shit on, but he's done that too many times, unfortunately. And I'm honest in saying that this is their last hurrah this year with Mike McDaniels and Tua. Either one of them is going or both of them are going. And I don't know, man. They worked so well together, but unfortunately they just couldn't get it done in this game. Josh Allen's still a beast. Cook is a great running back. And yeah, I don't think the Dolphins are entirely doomed just yet. But, you know, these last 2 games did look pretty solid from them. And I just want them to get it clicking because when the Dolphins are good, they're a really fun damn team to watch. All right, let's move on to the Sunday games. We got the Green Bay Packers taking on the Browns. The Packers, because the Browns fucking suck. Then we got the Colts taking on the Titans. Okay, let's be serious about this for a second. Jordan Love looks great. Micah Parsons looks great. Josh Jacobs looks great. The Packers are a really solid team, and the Browns are still a mess. They're a mess. They're a mess. They're a mess. I don't know what's going to happen with the Browns. They really got to do something with taking out Joe Flacco soon and get some new blood in there because I don't know. I don't know if they don't want to deter Sanders too much or that other quarterback that they have. I really don't know what they're doing. Just fucking start Sanders or that other quarterback, please. Because I don't know, man. Packers just look really solid and they look like Super Bowl contenders right now. Then we got the Colts taking on the Titans. It's the Colts. The Titans don't look so hot. The Colts, on the other hand, look really hot. They're one of the undefeated teams this season. And Daniel Jones is just shredding apart defenses. So good for him. I'm glad to see Daniel Jones doing good. And the Giants are most likely the problem for Daniel Jones. And that's just about it. The Titans aren't really exciting. They have not been exciting since the resurgence of Ryan Tannehill. Since then, they've just been kind of lame. Then we got the Bengals taking on the Vikings. I don't know why the Vikings are favored to win for some reason based on all the people who have voted so far. I'm choosing the Bengals because after Joe Burrow went out, Jake Browning came in and he still looked solid. You still have the solid roster and unfortunately the O-line that isn't blocking for Burrow because he's out for like what? A few weeks? A few months? No, a few months. He's out for like a few months from turf toe, I think. And J.J. McCarthy, I think he's only out for a few weeks. I don't remember what was up with J.J. McCarthy. But yeah, they just didn't look that great, the Vikings. The Bengals, on the other hand, made that game competitive and fun, and they still won. And even when Burrow went out a few years ago, Jake Browning came in and still was really damn solid. So I got the Bengals winning this. I don't know why they're not favored to win based on the people who voted for this. I think everyone's high. Then we got the Steelers taking on the Patriots. I'm choosing the Steelers. They have the better roster. The Patriots looked solid against the Dolphins, and maybe it won't be enough to overcome the Steelers wanting to bounce back from a loss against the Seahawks because you wouldn't expect that from an elite defense that the Steelers have. I don't know, man. It's interesting to see. They got shredded by the Jets for the most part, even though they won that game, the Steelers, and then they just lost to the Seahawks. But the Patriots aren't the Seahawks. And they're better than the Jets. So this is going to be an interesting game to see. Aaron Rodgers looks good, but he threw a few picks here and there. I think he only had one pick. And I don't know. I don't know if I can get a good gauge on the Steelers yet, for some reason. They have good moments, and they have a lot of bad and shitty moments. But I'm going to be confident in choosing the Steelers to win this game because Aaron Rodgers, he has some flashes of just good quarterback play. And we'll see what happens with this game. Yeah. Then we got the Rams taking on the Eagles. This might be the best game of the week, I think, because the Rams are a team that are going to be a pain in everyone's asshole, just like the Chargers this year. They're not going to go away. They're strong. They're competitive. The Eagles, on the other hand, have had some, I'm going to be honest, pretty underwhelming games against the Cowboys and the Chiefs. I expected a lot more dominance from them. And Jalen Hurts is still that guy. He's still making runs and making whatever throws that he can. I don't know if he has a touchdown pass yet. I really don't know if he has a touchdown pass. I got to look this up real quick. Because if he does not have a touchdown pass in 2 weeks, as good of a quarterback as Jalen Hurts is, that's pretty interesting, to say the least. No, he does not have a touchdown pass this season. What the hell? He has touchdown runs, but I don't know. I'm very conflicted on this game because I do think something's going to happen and the Eagles are going to get dethroned, especially come playoff time, even though they do have a very strong roster and they still have Saquon and Hurts. But I just think that the Eagles are more well-rounded. But I'm going to go on a whim here and say the Rams are going to win. I think something... No, Eagles. I'm sorry. I got to be realistic about this. I just have to be realistic about this. Eagles have to win. It's going to be a very competitive game, though. I think it's going to be a very close game. Maybe within a field goal. I'm being realistic, though. Even though the Rams have looked more dominant in their wins, I still think somehow the Eagles are going to do some miraculous bullshit like the tush push and just keep winning. Then we got the Jets taking on the Bucks. The Bucks, because the Jets are a mess. Justin Fields, I think he's concussed and he's not going to be able to play in Week 3, and it's going to be Tyrod Taylor. And Tyrod Taylor really hasn't been that great, unfortunately. I think he was the quarterback that got his chest and lungs punctured by the Chargers doctors, and that's why Justin Herbert is here. The Bucks, on the other hand, are just dominant. They're dominant. They can win games. They're going to be a pain in everyone's assholes, like I'm saying about the Rams and the Chargers. I think those three teams are going to be the most dominant teams this season. The Bucks just look damn good. They'll stick around and they'll fuck you up. So the Bucks, the Jets are a mess. They're 0-2. Bucks are 2-0. Then we got the Raiders, my Las Vegas Raiders, taking on the Commanders. The Raiders disappointed me on Monday Night Football against the Chargers because the defense kept them in the game because it was only 20-9. Defense made some great stops. The offense did have some great drives, but they just couldn't get it done in the red zone, and we only settled for 3 fucking field goals. Commanders, on the other hand, do not have Jaden Daniels. Marcus Mariota is starting. I'm hoping this isn't a revenge game with Mariota just dominating the Raiders. But I'm hoping Geno Smith bounces back after throwing 3 goddamn interceptions because he tried to play hero ball. It was a weird mix of the offensive line giving him a lot of time in the pocket and the receivers not being open, and then the offensive line just not blocking at all, and Geno Smith just getting swarmed, as well as Genty. Genty didn't have a whole lot of rushing yards. He didn't have a whole lot of room to work with. So yeah, if it keeps going like that, I think we're doomed, and this is gonna be another lost season for the Raiders. The Commanders, on the other hand, I think are still a solid team, but without Jaden Daniels, I'm not sure what's going on because Marcus Mariota had his chance with the Falcons, and it didn't really end all that well a few years ago. So I'm going to whim here and say the Raiders. I gotta choose my Raiders to win this game. I really think I think we're gonna bounce back because we still have weapons. We just gotta fucking work on it. Our receivers gotta get open. The offensive line, they can block, but they have to do it consistently. And our defense is still pretty solid. Only giving up 20 points to the Chargers, I think, is pretty good. All right, Falcons against the Panthers. The Falcons. I mean, what more do you want me to say? The Panthers have been a mess. It's been disappointing. I wanted more out of Bryce Young, and I still think he can produce. I'm going to say this is going to be a close game, a close and ugly game, but the Falcons are going to somehow just dominate in the fourth quarter. Michael Penix Jr. is just going to unleash it all in the fourth quarter. I think it's gonna be a very slow game for some reason. Something's telling me that it's gonna be like some weird trap game. But I'm going with the Falcons on this. Hopefully Bryce Young can get it back together though, and I want to see more of him and Hunter Renfrow. Then we got the Texans taking on the Jaguars. The Texans. You know what? I'm going to limit and say the Jags. The Texans have been kind of disappointing. I expected a whole lot more, and maybe the rookie season for C.J. Stroud is the best he's going to be for quite a while. The Jags, on the other hand, are competitive. They can keep these games close, and Trevor Lawrence doesn't look bad. C.J. Stroud doesn't look bad either, but I think Trevor Lawrence is looking better this season. So I'm going with the Jags on this. Then we got the Broncos taking on the Chargers. I'm choosing the Chargers because they look way more dominant and they didn't lose to the Colts. We'll see what's going on with Daniel Jones later on because it's only week 3 now. The Broncos, on the other hand, I expected to be way more dominant, and I didn't expect Bo Nix to make as many mistakes as he's making now. The Chargers just look really damn good and really damn solid. I'm going to call it and say that they're Super Bowl contenders. I want Justin Herbert to do really damn good, and he's slinging the ball just as he used to. He's still got that zip in him, and they have a really solid roster. And I didn't read into how long Mac's going to be out, but he's on the IR because his teammate ran into him when he was trying to make a tackle, and his elbow just fucking snapped, and that looked really ugly, and that sucks because I love Khalil Mack. But even without Khalil Mack, the Raiders couldn't do shit on the Chargers defense. So that means the Chargers still have a damn good roster even without their top defensive end in Mack or defensive lineman in Mack. So I'm going with the Chargers. Then we got the Saints taking on the Seahawks. I'm going with the Seahawks. They're getting their shit together. They're getting games done. The Saints aren't looking that bad, but I don't know. Something about it is just they can't get it done in the final moments. Unfortunately, the Seahawks are still a solid roster. They're still fun to watch. Especially, it was fun to see them beat up on the Steelers. Yeah, I think the Seahawks are going to be able to stick around quite a bit, especially in that competitive division. The Saints, on the other hand, I think they're going to go 0-3. Spencer Rattler might have another great game, but it might just be all for nothing. And interesting fact, Spencer Rattler is 0-8 in his career. And I believe Derek Carr was 0-8, and then he got his first win. But that was in the span of one season. This is in the span of 2 seasons. So we'll see what happens. Then we got the Cowboys taking on the Bears. The Bears, they look messy. Nothing is working out for them. I feel bad for Caleb Williams, but unfortunately, shit's not getting done for them. The Cowboys are still, a force to be reckoned with in a regular season, of course. They're going to find a way to fuck it up in the playoffs. They still have a solid roster. But the Bears, it's funny. It sucks to see the Bears, but that's just who the Bears are, unfortunately. They haven't been good since like the 2018 season. Since then, they've just been kind of coasting and not exciting. They've fucked up Justin Fields, and now they're going to fuck up Caleb Williams. I got a buddy who's a Bears fan, and I feel bad for him because he hates his team. He loves his team, but he hates what they're doing. So I got the Cowboys winning this game pretty handedly. I don't think it's going to be close at all. Then we got the Cardinals taking on the Niners. The Cardinals and the Niners are both 2-0, but the Niners have the much stronger roster. Even without Brock Purdy, they can still produce with Mac Jones in. And I'm glad to see a resurgence from Mac Jones because I've always liked him, but after his rookie season with the Patriots, shit just wasn't working out. So yeah, Niners winning this. They have the better roster. Cardinals are 2-0 somehow. I didn't expect that, but I got more faith in the Niners. Then we got Sunday Night Football. Before the season started, you might look at this game and go, what the fuck? The Giants? The shitty Giants taking on the Chiefs? But after this week, you're going, during the season, and up to now, you go, oh shit, these two teams are 0-2. Sunday Night Football. You wouldn't expect the Chiefs to be 0-2, but the Giants have looked better than the Chiefs have, especially with that game against the Cowboys in week 2. I'm conflicted on this game because the Chiefs have obviously the better roster, but Russell Wilson just came out of nowhere with a very, very stunning performance, especially in that fourth quarter. He threw over 450 yards. I haven't seen something like that from Russell Wilson in hella long. So, and the Giants do have a pretty impressive front four. The Chiefs, on the other hand, no one expected this of the Chiefs. They're kind of messy. Travis Kelce's dropping passes, and they're losing. They're 0-2, and I'm just loving the fact that they're 0-2 and that they're behind the Raiders as of now. As of now is very important. But my gut's telling me to go with the Chiefs because, just because, okay, they're the better team, obviously. Then we got Monday Night Football. We got the Lions taking on the Ravens. Both teams having very impressive and dominant wins in week 2. But my gut's telling me that the Ravens are just going to bounce back, especially from that week 1 loss. And the Lions, they're feeling the same way. One of these teams has to win. One of these teams has to prove that they're the dominant team in their conference. One of these teams has to have the better quarterback play, the running play, defense play. They're very similar. They're both very fun, exciting teams to watch. I'm going with the Ravens, though. The Lions are more fun to watch, but I think the Ravens are more electric. They're more stunning. They're more, oh shit, they can score on a whim. Especially with the mobile quarterback in Lamar Jackson, they'll fuck you up in 10 different ways. I'm going to say this is going to be a high-scoring game, though. I'm going to say 65 points. All right, that does it for my week 3 picks. Tell me what you thought of my picks. Tell me why you think I'm wrong or right. Who do you think is going to win in week 3? Who's your favorite team, and how are they doing this season? My favorite team is the Raiders, and we're kind of messy, but at least we're better than the 0-2 Chiefs as of now. So, tell me what you thought about all of this in the comments below. Look forward to more NFL weekly prediction videos. I'm going to really do my best to get all of these not just out on time, but just out in general, and to finish the season and hopefully do the playoff stuff. So yeah, that's it. Bye.